Let me tell you, there are some stories you just don't see coming, and this is one of them. Because if you'd asked anyone at Oakwood High who'd wind up shaking the whole choir program, not a soul would have pointed at Amara Tillman. No, sir. She was the kind of kid who made invisible look easy head down, baggy sweater, always gliding through the halls like she had somewhere much safer to be. If you ever heard her voice, you'd probably think it was your imagination until the day it wasn't. And that quiet girl put the whole school on notice. You know what I mean? Some moments just split your life in half. Oakwood High was one of those places where status stuck to you like humidity in a Georgia summer. Choir was the royalty led by Madison Tate in her hand-picked court, all perfect ponytails and designer dresses, every move rehearsed. Amara was nothing to them, just another shadow passing through. But that never bothered her. She liked her silence. It was armor, especially in Millfield, where everyone remembers everything and judgment comes quick. Then came a day everything flipped. Amara was just minding her business, humming softly while waiting for class, when Carlos Diaz showed up, grinning like he'd won the lottery. Carlos, bless him, always carried color wherever he went, blue sketchbook under his arm, yellow headphones, and a soul that saw through all her defenses. "You ever think about auditioning?" he asked, knowing full well the answer. "Right," she shot back, "and I could sprout wings and fly to the moon." It was their routine, this gentle teasing, but there was something in the way he said, "You've got pipes. I've heard you," that made her chest tighten. Not fear, just maybe hope. She shook it off. After all, choir wasn't for girls like her. But fader, maybe just high school cruelty has a way of forcing your hand. That day, Madison and her squad cornered Amara by the posters advertising choir auditions. "You should totally try out," Madison purred, that fake smile like poison and honey. "We need more diverse voices." The way she said it, you knew it was a setup, a joke Amara was supposed to be the punchline for. But she held her ground until Carlos showed up, ready to scrap with words alone. For a second, you could feel the whole hallway lean in. What they didn't know was Amara's world didn't start or end at Oakwood. At home, it was just her and her dad, scraping by after her mom passed. Her mom, Lynette, had been a for sale woman whose voice could fill a house with sunlight, who taught Amara every note and lyric worth knowing. That memory was a comfort and a burden all at once. Some nights, Amara would sing in the bathroom, soft at first, then letting the music pour outro, honest, and just a little afraid. One night, she caught her dad listening, and he told her, "That sound doesn't come from someone who's not good enough. That comes from your soul, just like your mama." She tried to believe it. She really did. Still, when she found her name scrawled on a sign-up sheet for auditions, it felt like someone else's hand had written it. The week leading up was a blur. Madison's crew tried to shake her with notes taped to her locker, but Carlos and her dad built her back up. "I'll be right outside the door," Carlos promised. "You don't show, I'm dragging you in myself." Sometimes it's not courage that gets you to the starting line-night's stubborn friendship. Audition day came like a thunderstorm. Amara walked into the auditorium wearing her mother's music note earrings, her heart pounding so loud she thought everyone could hear. Alphabetical order meant she'd go last more time to get worked up, more performances to compare herself to. Madison, of course, delivered a flawless, soulless version of Hallelujah. Then it was Amara's turn. The room was heavy with expectation and mockery. She whispered, "Amazing Grace," closed her eyes, and sang from the deepest part of herself. The first note wavered, but then something happened. People stopped breathing. Laughter died in throats. Even Madison was silent. When Amara finished, there was this silence, the kind that feels alive. And then the applause started, slow, then building, until even the skeptics had to admit it was real. Of course, the next day, the rumor mill worked overtime. Some said she cheated. Some said the mic was rigged. Ms. Wyndham, the choir director, seemed more confused than proud. When a finalist list went up, Amara's name was missing. But Carlos had secretly recorded her audition and posted it online. Unknown talent at Oakwood High. Who is she? The clip went viral overnight. Suddenly, it wasn't just about school anymore. That's when the real battle began. MS. Wyndham, pressured by whispers and the sudden spotlight, grudgingly announced a second round of auditions to ensure fairness. Everyone knew it was to prove Amara's performance was a fluke. But this time she had help. Diana Jackson, a retired symphony singer and Carlos's aunt's best friend, stepped in. She trained Amara after school, teaching her how to use her natural style to command a stage, how to bend the rules without breaking the truth of a song. Madison and Wyndham weren't done scheming. They tried to sabotage her by switching her sheet music, lowering her mic, dimming her lights. But thanks to Nain, a choir member tired of Madison's reign, and Carlos's quick hands, Amara got the heads up. She confronted the sabotage with quiet confidence, refusing to play the victim or the villain. The final showcase was packed students, parents, even a music blogger in the crowd. Madison performed first, predictably perfect. Then it was Amara's turn. She ditched the mic, started a cappella, and let her voice fill the auditorium. Gospel, blues, classical, all woven together in her mother's arrangement. By the time the choir joined in, the room was spellbound. The ovation lasted minutes. Even MS. Wyndham couldn't hide her awe. Of course, nothing in high school is ever simple. MS. Wyndham was forced out after evidence of her bias came to light. Madison had a public meltdown, and suddenly the doors to New York, to scholarships, to a future Amara had only dared dream about started to open. Her aunt tried to worm her way back into her life, dangling industry connections, but Amara chose her father and her friends her truth over ambition at any cost. At the national competition in New York, Amara stood backstage, nerves jangling. Carlos and her dad in the wings, Diana's advice in her ear, sing your truth. She stepped onto that massive stage, began with her mother's lullaby, and for the first time, wasn't afraid of being seen. The audience listened. The judges cried. When they called her name as the winner, it didn't feel like a triumph over Madison or Wyndham or even the old voices in her own head. It felt like coming home. Afterward, Amara found her father backstage, trophy in hand. Your mama would be proud, he said, and she believed him. That's the thing about stories like this, they remind you that sometimes the world really does stop to listen when someone dares to sing their own song. So let me ask you, how many voices go unheard because someone like Amara never gets their moment? If this story moved you, hit like, subscribe, and tell us in the comments, do you think talent always finds its stage, or is it up to us to make room for every voice? Because sometimes all it takes is a single note to change everything.